friends, and welcome to another day of Crochet and Crime. My name is Hazy Baby, and on this channel I crochet while talking about Australian crime. Today is Monday, the 1st of May. What? Pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. And I will be talking today about Australian crime, but I will be catching up on some news headlines that I missed over the weekend due to my other stuff that I do. If you are on TikTok and if you would like to have a chance at winning my blanket Raymond once he is complete, all you have to do is head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe and comment, and you could go into the draw to win it. Today I'll be working on Lillian, which is a lovely purple blanket, and talking to you about crime. So if you're on YouTube, guess what? It's right now. Alrighty, let's get this day started. Do I have a Monday for you? So first of all, I've got a terrible story. So I will just give you the caveat that this story is absolutely horrific, and it does have depictions of childhood abuse. So yeah, please just keep a reminder that that is what I'm talking about today, and you know, it's sad. Okay, so a WA woman stabbed, strangled and suffocated her kids before starting a house fire. So a mother stabbed, strangled and suffocated her 3 children before burning their bodies in a house fire in Western Australia, town of Port Hedland. So Margaret Dale Hawke, 36, formally pled guilty to a Supreme Court in Perth on Friday to murdering her 10-year-old daughter and her 2 sons, aged 7 and 4 months. So doesn't she sound like a peach? 1, 2, so this is just a 3, hold on. 4, 5, 6, 2. Okay. Alrighty, so they died in July last year at the family's Port Hedland home, sending shockwaves through the town of about 16,000 people. The court heard that Hawke had strangled her daughter with an electrical cord and then stabbed her 8 times in the chest, eventually piercing her heart. And her 7-year-old was found with 3 stab wounds in his chest, and the wound from his neck, suggesting that he had been strangled when he didn't succumb to his wounds from the stabbing. Yeah, Hawke admitted to smothering her infant son before setting the home alight and walking into the streets as it was engulfed by flames. So she murdered all 3 of her children, and all 3 in horrific ways. And I hope there is a special place in hell for her. So prosecutor Justin Wally SC told the court that one witness described her as really calm as she watched the house burn. So that's even scarier. Just calmly watching the house burn down. She just really sounds like a peach, hey guys. She really, really does. Wiley said that Hawke then screamed and cried, saying, my babies, you don't have to suffer anymore." So, members of the public tried to enter the home to save the children, but it was too dangerous. Obviously, they didn't know that the children were already had already passed. So Yeah. That is, like I said, really, really unfortunate. And I'm glad that no one else was able to rush in and perhaps almost die themselves trying to save children that were already gone. That would have been really horrible. So, police had said that they don't know why she didn't know any other way to help her children, is what she said. So she lit the fire. She said, "My 3 babies, I hurt my babies, I did that to my babies," was what she was saying outside. And as firefighters were putting out the blaze. So Hawke's eldest son body was found on a mattress in a room at the front of the property. Her daughter and her other son were found in a room at the back of the property. Hawke was taken to a hospital where she admitted to staff that she murdered her children. I mean, she was already admitting that in the street, basically, saying that she did it to her children. I don't know why I did it. Maybe to stop the pain in all of us. The court heard her tell police in an interview after the incident. So, she crazy. She crazy lady. But, yeah, that was her reasoning, apparently. I don't think there's ever going to be a good reason to murder your children, so... Yeah. Wiley said that Hawke told the court that she loved her children and asked them directly for their forgiveness before she murdered her daughter, and then her sons. He said that arson investigation found that a fire was deliberately lit, but there was 2 ignition points in the house, so she was like making sure that they burned for sure, for shizzle. She wasn't having anyone. None of the children were found with soot in their respiratory system, so it was concluded that no one could have done anything for them. They'd already passed before they were set ablaze. In court on Friday, Hawke was overcome by grief, apparently. She sobbed in the dock and repeatedly banged her head on the balustrade until security staff stopped her. Very dramatic. Judge Michael Lumberg listened to the sentencing submissions before adjourning his sentencing decision until May 5th, which I totally get, because he'd be trying to figure out what is he going to sentence her to that she hasn't already sentenced herself to. A life without her children is probably a lot of punishment. So I urge anyone who's having any difficulties in their home or needs help at all, please contact Beyond Blue on 1300 222 4636 or Lifeline on 13 11 14. And seek help, guys. If you need help, seek it, because you can't undo that. That's permanent, you know. That is really, really permanent. And there are people in this world who would have loved to look after those children and keep them in their lives, if she didn't want to. And I'm sure that she has family members who, to this day, are probably rocking backwards and forwards wishing that she'd given them a phone call. But anyway, let's move on from that very sad story. I just wanted to get it over and done with and out for this part of the day. Alrighty, moving on. This next one is about domestic violence. So again, I will say, just make sure that if you are sensitive to this kind of information, that you, go on your merry way and scroll on. So a man has been accused of attempting to murder his ex-girlfriend, says that he wanted to coerce her and not kill her, apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There should be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, this one has 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What did I do on this side then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm an idiot. It was 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Alrighty, so a man accused of attempting to murder his ex-girlfriend told the Queensland jury that he only bought a hatchet, apparently, to force her into speaking to him again. So apparently she'd stopped speaking to him and he wasn't having any of it. So he bought a hatchet to coerce her. A hatchet, guys. A hatchet. Yeah, sure. Tell your story walking. Jog on, brother. Jog on. Ain't nobody believing your bullshit. So former security guard Cameron Targay Bardick, 31, spent 3 hours testifying on Friday during his trial in the Brisbane Supreme Court on the attempted murder of Maria Bachelli, 30, by striking her with a hatchet and choking her. And he's a big dude. Like, he is quite a big dude. I'm scared of him. So he pled guilty to the alternate charge of causing grievous bodily harm to Bucci. Sorry, that's her last name. Whatever I said before was not her last name. And I just made it up because I couldn't say her last name before, but now I can. Apparently, all of a sudden, my dyslexia has decided to allow me. It says, "You are allowed. I shall let you say this name, probably just once, and then you'll have to make up your own. Carry on." So while questioned by his barrister, Matthew Haynes Bardick, I'm just going to call him Dick, said that in July 1st, 2020 was the stupidest day of his life because he bought a hatchet to threaten Bucci in the event that she didn't agree to talk with him about resuming their relationship. Well, a hatchet should fix it. You know? Oh, come on, love. Be me mate. Date me. Here's me hatchet. Seeing you've played hatchet before. I know that I said this blanket was purple, but I really, really, really like this royal blue, and so I'm putting it in. It is just such a pretty, pretty blue, and it kind of throws a little bit of purple hues when it's mixed in with these purples. Anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alrighty then, shall we move on? So, yeah, he said his intentions were to hurt her. But never did it cross his mind that he was going to unalive her. Though he did end up hitting her in the hand and the shoulder with the weapon. So, I think your actions speak louder than words there, Jeffrey. Yeah. What a frickin' dick. That's why I'm calling him Dick. So, Bucci had met Dick that day for lunch and had ended the relationship, with Bucci returning to her work at a law firm in central Brisbane. And then she testifies that, he testified that he made a hasty decision when he broke up with her. So he broke up with her, apparently. This is according to him. And so he feels like he made a hasty decision in that breakup. So, like, he wanted to convince her, apparently, to take him back with a hatchet. Just some light hatchet convincing, apparently. Anyway, so he made a hasty decision and he thought he could reconcile with her if they spoke in person at 5 p.m. I didn't want her to stew on it. In the past, that went badly for me. This was a band-aid to get the relationship through the night, Dick said. So Haynes ran through pages of profound and insulting messages that Bardick exchanged with Bucci before the attack, which included him saying that his life was over, apparently. It was about gaining sympathy, about manipulation. It was a kind of look what you made me do situation was apparently what he was trying to obtain. So it said that he waited for Bucci to walk from her car and told her to walk up to the next level to his own car. She refused and he grabbed her by the arm. but she started screaming and wouldn't stop when he put his hand over her mouth and showed her the hatchet. So, regardless of what he is saying, he clearly, she must have been scared of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Give me a second. Oof. Come on. Yeah, so after he hit bystander David Struggs with one hand, with apparently, he claimed a 6 out of 10 force, he put both of his hands on Bucci's throat. So there was a witness to this, brutal frickin' not attempted murder. What is he calling it? What do you call it again? Coercion. Ridiculous. When a man tried to stop it, he hit the bystander, apparently. Okay, with enough force, he apparently strangled her with enough force to stop her from screaming. He reckons, I never strangled anyone before, I was just, quote unquote, winging it. Oh my God. Dick, under cross-examination by the Crown Prosecutor Chris Cook, denied that he planned the cowardly murder-suicide after Bucci rejected his demands for forgiveness. So he's like, oh, please forgive me. And she's like, nah, bros. He's like, you just tried to freaking choke the shit out of me. I'm never, ever going to forgive you for this. And he was like, oh, come on, Sharon, come on. You know you wanna. Jesus. Anyway, so Cook showed Dick a bystander's iPhone with the attack, which depicted Dick on top of Bucci with both his hands around her neck. Yeah, but he was just trying to coerce her. He was just trying to talk to her, see? Jesus. This is you wanting to reconcile a relationship, is what the prosecutor said. Were you thinking about going to tennis with her on Friday? Smart ass, I love him. And his answer was that he wanted to get her back to his car. But, she clearly wasn't coming. Can anyone say roid rage? Because this dude looks like he takes roids as well. I mean, that's probably slander. I've got no idea if he has roids or not. But that's what it looked like to me. He looked like he was a bit roid ragey. Anyway, he denied that he acted like a robot, but in the video he was, with the sole focus of killing Bucci, while ignoring punches to his head and kidneys from Good Samaritans. So I just want to say, it sounds like as well, one of those cases in which a Good Samaritan has actually saved this woman's life, because I think without them, he would have coerced her until she died, until she was unalived. But according to him, that would have never been the case. He was just trying to talk to her, okay? He was just trying to get her to the car. Alrighty, the trial will continue until tomorrow, because today is Labor Day, and so there is no trials on today, but it will continue tomorrow. So support is available, by the way, I know I say this a lot, for the National Sexual Assault, Domestic Family Violence Counselling Services. If you ring 1-800-RESPECT, that's 1-800-737-732. So please ring that number if you are suffering from domestic violence or sexual violence or any of those kinds of things and you need help. Please seek the help that you need. Who knows, it could save your life. So, yeah. Alrighty, let's move on from that story. This next one, a man has been charged after allegedly trucking 136 kgs of cannabis from Victoria to Queensland. So police have arrested and charged a man from rural Queensland after allegedly finding more than 100 kilos of cannabis in the back of his truck on the Gold Coast. So officers allege that the 42-year-old man drove 136 kgs of marijuana into Queensland from Melbourne, stashing it in the back of a Hino Pantech truck. Police said that they found the drugs behind a number of potted palm trees in the back of the truck after officers performed a vehicle inspection at 12:45 on Friday in Eleanor, which is just near the Gold Coast. Or is it at the Gold Coast? I don't know. But the 42-year-old man from Mudapilly was arrested by police and was charged with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs. Because drugs are bad, okay. And exceeding a Schedule 3 cannabis. So it must have been that good stuff that he was caught with for it to be a Schedule 3. He is he will be due to appear in court tomorrow. Like I said, today's Labor Day, so that shouldn't surprise anyone. Yeah, but that was it. That's a nice short and sweet story, that one. Actually was sweet, because no one was murdered, beaten to death or anything. He's just caught with cannabis. He needs to be better. Be better, Jeffrey. Be better. I know, I'm sorry if anyone knows anyone named Jeffrey. It's just the name that I tend to go to straight up. I don't know why. I just do. I just like the name, okay? It's a good name. It's a good, solid name. Alrighty, let's go on the lighter side of crime today. Queenslander is extremely remorseful for going on a little bit of a drunk, naked rampage in a conservative Indonesian province. Like, it's pretty silly to do that, but it's pretty funny. You just have to make sure that you know where you are, basically. So the Queenslander who went on a drunk, naked rampage in an ultra-conservative Indonesian province is extremely remorseful for his actions. So Bodhi is 23 and he is from Noosa. He was detained in the early hours of Thursday morning in the county province of Bodhi, what were you doing? His family has released a statement on his behalf, which they said he was disturbed by his action and takes full responsibility for them. Of course he does. He was drunk. He's just being a drunken fool. I mean, he was the one who was naked. Jeebus Louises. To all I have disrespected and hurt, I am truly sorry. Please forgive me, he says. He's extremely remorseful and apologetic and acknowledged that his pain may have caused the victim, Mr. Edley Ron, and his family, because he ran through his front yard, and he apologizes for that. He further acknowledged the waste of resources that his actions have caused the Samul police and Australian representatives, because it would have been absolutely hilarious. But, the police report that the local suffered injuries in his feet because good old Bodhi had pushed his motorcycle into him. So he actually received 50 stitches from hospital. So that part is not so funny, and that is actually distressful. And he was being quite a nuisance. So the Australian drunk, naked rampaged through the street, prompted residents to threaten to burn the Moon Beach resort down on Serving Island off the coast of Sumatra. The victim's wife had made a report to police, and he was a suspect. 4 witnesses have been questioned, and they have all, said that he was, absolutely batshit crazy. And he's been a very silly boy, because he was. I told his family that he wanted to apologise to the witnesses and the Indonesian people for disrespecting their culture and their laws. He's also apologised to Australia for embarrassing us, and public canings are regular punishment in the province, meaning the 23-year-old could be lashed up to 40 times as well as face 5 years in prison if convicted. So let's hope he just gets the lashings or the prison time. I don't know, which one. The thing is that I know that sounds like a silly law to have, but that's their culture and their law, and he should know their laws before doing anything stupid. So the province enforces Shira law, which means that the sale and consumption of alcohol is banned. So him being drunk in public was a big, big, big thing. Sahari law, sorry. And those, like many Indonesians go by the name called the Queenslander, would not be deported. He is expected to face court next week. So while I was joking and laughing before, obviously this is a way more serious thing than I had realised. But, yeah, look, like I said, just make sure that you know the laws of whatever country it is that you're going to visit, because it's important and imperative that you know those. So I think I'm going to put another purple here before moving on to this purple, because this purple is a little bit pinky, and I'm okay with that, but I think it will look really pinky next to this blue. So, okay, I'm going to pick a different colour and come back with my next story. Okay, so moving on, we have a man has allegedly kidnapped in Perth after flying from China for a business deal. So let's read about it. And as you can see, I've picked this lovely purple color on the outside, and there's like a darker purple in the middle. I'll use both, but right now just the top purple will be my thing. So 3 men have been charged in Western Australia after they allegedly kidnapped a man for 2 days, assaulting him and demanding money from his family. Nice. So, police say that the 68-year-old victim travelled from China to Perth but stopped in Melbourne, where he met 29-year-old a 29-year-old about a proposed business deal. The two then flew to WA on April 23rd. When they arrived in Perth, police alleged the associate of the 29-year-old drove the pair to a house in Caversham where 3 men were waiting. So they literally ambushed this poor dude. So I'm going to go... Actually, I think I'm going to go a triple crochet, half double into the corner. So 1, 2, so that's the first one. 1, 2, and then 1 around. Let me see, is this what I want to do? Oh, I forgot this hook is crap. I need to go find my other one. No. Let's try that again. Drop them all. Drop them like they're hot. Drop them like they're hot. There we go. Alrighty, so it will be alleged that the 68-year-old man was subsequently held against his will and assaulted a number of times, Western Australian police said in a statement. It'll be further alleged that members of his family were also connected and contacted and requested sums of money for his release. Police say they found the 68-year-old's location and forced entry into the Caversham home. So the man was found inside the house with various injuries and was conveyed to the hospital for treatment. They said that the 29-year-old, the 37-year-old, the 31-year-old had each been charged with kidnapping and demanding property by written threats. The 29-year-old and the 37-year-old are due to face Maitland's Magistrate Court next month. The 31-year-old man is due to appear in Perth Magistrate Court later on tomorrow. So, yeah, that is such a strange case. Who does that? Why? And who thought of that? And who did it? And why was there? I have so many questions, and hopefully I will have the answers to them soon. I don't know why there has been so many stories lately about elder abuse, but there has been. So this next story is also about elder abuse. A 77-year-old pedestrian has died after a hit and run incident. So how sad is that? So he was hit in Sydney's east, and police say the 77-year-old was hit by a car on Roslyn Street in Rochecutters Bay at 3:30 p.m. He died earlier in the next morning after he was transported to Vincent's Hospital in New South Wales by a New South Wales ambulance in a critical condition. It's just so sad, just so sad. Anyway, so what have I got here? Oh, I know what I did. I only wanted half doubles. Alrighty, hold on. Police allege that the car hit him and didn't stop. They're now investigating the incident and they're asking for witnesses to come forward, or if anyone has any dash cam footage by chance, or if anyone happened to be driving along that road at the time, could you please let police know if you have any dash cam footage. I mean, you would know if you had dash cam footage of someone being hit by a car. So, yeah. Alrighty, let's move on from that one. That was a really short one, and we'll be moving on to our next one. We'll combine these two together. So this next story is about a man who's been charged with allegedly stabbing another man multiple times outside a Sydney venue. So, yeah, bit of a stabby, rampagey weekend apparently. There's been a lot of stabbings, and I don't know whether that's just because I started reading the news every day, it's always been like that, and I've just been totally ignorant to it, or if people are just like super stabby violent. I don't know what is happening. But yeah, it's a stabbing, guys. It's a stab fest. Everyone's playing stabby, stab. Yep. Very Australian. So a man's been charged after another man was allegedly stabbed multiple times in Sydney's southwest. So police said a 47-year-old man allegedly attacked outside a punch bowl. Outside of a punchy, not in punchy, hotel at 11:15 p.m. on the weekend. So the offender allegedly left the scene before the police were able to arrive, obviously, but they were arrested short time later at their home in Bankstown. So they stabbed someone in Punchy and they live in Bankstown. Could you get any more stereotypical? Jesus, Trent. I hope it wasn't Trent from Punchy. Come on, Trent. Get your shit together. So, hold on. Just need to go around this corner. Going around a corner. Mm-hmm. So the injured man was treated at the scene by paramedics before he was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So, although he did get stabbied, it wasn't too stabby bad. The 43-year-old man has been charged with the wounding of a person with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm, and from leaving a crime scene, which is also known as a fray. He was refused bail, and he will appear before the Parramatta local court tomorrow. So it looks like all the courts are going to have some things on their bucket list tomorrow. On their docket list. See what I did there? Because docket is the technical term. What? I know. Sometimes I'm smart. Sometimes I'm super dumb. Like just now when I accidentally did the wrong stitch. Oh, Hailey. Oh, Hazy baby. What are you doing with yourself? Yeah. So that's great. I mean, it's not great. The person who got stabbed, and another person is going to prison. So it's not great, but it's finished. It's over. Let's have a little bit of an upbeat story. So an urn was lost during a devastating flood, and it has now been reunited with their family in New South Wales. So an urn during the devastating floods that hit the New South Wales Hawkesbury region last year has been reunited with family members. The urn was handed into police in November after it was found near a skip by a local business owner in Brooklyn, more than 30 kilometres from where it was lost. So how nice is that it was found? Oh, it's so nice that it was found. So Sergeant Ben Goring began investigating with local funeral directors after noticing the urn bore the words Molly May Grinzard. So it was discovered that Grinzard had died in 2007, and her next of kin was her nephew, Peter Hart, who had taken care of her ashes at his property by the Hawkesbury River in Lower Portland. Hart kept his ashes on a bookshelf. They were soon lost after his home went underwater during the widespread flooding that happened last year. And he was in shock after he was notified that the urn was found, because obviously he was under the impression that it had been lost forever, which, I would also be under that impression. So yeah, he's been reunited with his aunt and her ashes, obviously. And yeah, what a nice feel-good story. How cool is that? He couldn't believe it. He thought he'd lost them forever. And then when he came to his home in Lower Portland to return to urn showing the damage to the properties from the flood, he showed her old bedroom. Being able to return her ashes to the family is such a special and rewarding feeling. Being reunited with his aunt's ashes brought tears to his eyes. She never wanted to leave, and she loved her house, so it's nice to have her back where she belongs. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that a sweet story? That's such a sweet story. I'm so glad I was able to read a nice, uplifting story. Not really criminal, but still uplifting. Yeah. And now we shall move on from the uplifting story to police behaving badly. So, a Victorian police sergeant has been charged after an alleged assault. So let me read a little bit more about that. So, a Victorian police sergeant has been charged over an alleged assault on a man in a wheelchair. Oh my God, Barry? Did you attack a man in a wheelchair? It's understood the sergeant was responding to a noise complaint when an alleged incident unfolded outside of a Shepparton home in February, specifically February 28th. The Professional Standards Command conducted an investigation which included a review of CCTV and the police officer's body cam footage. The 48-year-old officer was soon stood down to perform other duties, so he was a desk sergeant, no doubt, for a while, and he will face up in a Shepparton court on August 11th, facing 2 counts of unlawful assault. Oh, I'm so glad they had the CCTV footage as well as the body cam footage. What a frickin' jerk. You know what? You give police a bad name because you're the bad guy. I can't believe you assaulted a dude in a wheelchair. Allegedly. What a fucking joke. What a douche canoe. I hope you get what you deserve, Barry. This story is in my neck of the woods. So an elderly man has been charged with the stabbing murder of Far North Queensland woman, age 65. So a car crash in Far North Queensland helped police catch an elderly man who allegedly murdered a 65-year-old woman only hours earlier. So the woman's son discovered her body after she allegedly suffered a fatal wound to her stomach in her home in Atherton, a small town south of Port Douglas, yesterday morning. Police called, but the woman was declared dead at the scene, sparking a manhunt for her alleged killer. So Detective Acting Inspector Jason Chipman said police tracked down the 72-year-old man about 2:30 p.m. after a car crash in nearby Braystown Ridge. He was found on the road there by Cooktown Police. Added to the suspect suffered minor injuries in the attack, and the man was taken into custody and charged with murder. So if you don't believe in instant karma, I don't know what else to tell you guys. He was in a single car crash just on his onesie and police caught him. Like, how cool is that? Like, he murdered someone and then he didn't even get down the road before he was in a car accident. Like, that's instant karma, isn't it? So awesome. So police have yet to establish a motive, besides the fact that he's clearly a douche canoe. And he will appear in the Maryborough Magistrates Court tomorrow. And investigations are continuing because obviously they want to know why. Why, Delilah? Like, why? Just why? Why, Barry? Why? So many questions. I always have so many questions. These stories always give me so many questions. Never any answers. No, hopefully we'll get some later. Alrighty, moving on to the next story, shall we? Alrighty then. So this story is a story that I have spoken about a couple of times. It is about a gangland murder. And I have spoken about it on a couple of my other days in which I have uploaded videos. So if you would like the details, just go back and have a look at those. Have a look at them all, in fact. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do. And you can go into the draw to win my lovely blanket, Raymond, who I am working on. This is not Raymond, this is Lillian. I'm working on Raymond as a crochet along. So if you do crochet, please go have a look at my crochet along. The videos are on my channel. Or you can find me on TikTok as hazy_baby. And if you don't crochet, but you would really, really, really love one of my art pieces, but you can't afford one, totally get it, because I am also super broke. I am running a competition in which you can win Raymond. I will show you him now. Give me a second. This is him, a sneak peek at him. Isn't he pretty? That's just the start of him. Obviously, I'm still crocheting him. And once I get 1,000 followers, I will be drawing that out. So all you have to do is subscribe and comment below, or comment on any of the videos, and you can win Raymond for yourself. So let's get on with this next story. So 2 more men have been arrested over Sydney shooting death of Mohammed Brownie Ahmed. So 2 more people have been arrested over the shooting death in Sydney's underworld figure, Mohammed Brownie Ahmed, last year. So Ahmed, who was 39, was shot at Greenacre Street in the city southwest on the 27th of April 2022. So 4 men have previously been charged in connection with the alleged gangland shooting, with police announcing 2 more arrests today, which is good. I like it. So 2 men, both aged 33, were arrested in raids at Clempton Park and Kempsey this morning. Kempsey. Both have been taken to Kempsey Police Station, where they are assisting with inquiries, apparently. In the video, which, because like I said in my previous videos, there was some CCTV footage showing the moment that Mohammed was gunned down. So they do have CCTV footage, and in the video, a stolen Porsche can be seen driving past the underworld figure before 2 bursts of gunfire are seen, and the vehicle allegedly involved was later found burnt out. So they thought that was a dead end. Obviously, it wasn't. The Homicide Squad Commander Detective Superintendent Danny Doherty previously said it was a violent and callous shooting, with obviously disregard for anyone that had been around him at the time. It was an indiscriminate shooting, really, because there were other people in the street who might have also been shot. Thankfully, they weren't. The other 4 men have been previously charged were aged 26, 29, 37 and 49 and remain behind bars and will see the courts later on this year. Anyone with any other information about this gangland shooting is to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000. And that is all I have about that story. So he just got out of prison too, if I remember correctly. He just got out of prison and then they gunned him down in a car park with other people around. Super, super scary. Could you imagine being there? Oh, I'd be so petrified. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so this last story is not Australian story, but it is entertaining. So I thought I would share it with you guys. It's about a man who has been arrested in the US trying to board a plane with a vampire straw. Yes. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Mostly because you're all sitting there like I was, scratching your head thinking, what the hell is a vampire straw? Well, my friends, it's a giant needle. Basically, it's a giant needle. So a traveller at Boston's International Airport in the US was arrested after officials found a potentially deadly vampire straw in his carry-on luggage. Strange. So the 26-year-old man was headed to Chicago from Boston when Massachusetts State Police confiscated the $85 or 128 Australian dollars straw from his bag and arrested him because it's essentially, okay, so it looks like a straw and a needle had a baby and created this vampire needle. Straw thingy. So anyway, so while vampire straws may be permitted in your check-in luggage in some states, not here in Australia, you are not allowed to carry them on anywhere. They're illegal to carry in Massachusetts. Yeah, because they're essentially a giant stabby pokey stick. So if you're not allowed to bring liquid on a plane, I'm sure you're not allowed to bring frickin' a giant stabbing utensil. Anyway, the man has been charged with carrying a dangerous weapon, according to a statement from Massachusetts State Police. They won't release his name, which is fair because it's a pretty stupid thing to do. The image posted above shows the item, so if you want to go and have a look, I won't put it on here because this is going to go on to TikTok, and I want to make sure that I don't get bananaed. So just go look up vampire needle or vampire straw if you want to see what it looks like, but it basically looks like what I said before, just like a straw had a baby with a needle, and they made a needle straw. So it's a metal straw with a tapered end with a grooved handle for the user to grip. So the straw's strength, length, and dagger-like point make it a defense weapon, and it's the company that sells them labels them as such. So according to the website, the titanium straws allows the user to drink effortlessly any thick shake or smoothie. I mean, it's scary. But in addition to making it easier to drink smoothie, it's also designed for self-defense. It's super tough and long enough to be used like a dagger, reads the website. Each is about 25 centimeters. And they're made in the US and on other US websites. We don't have them here. You can't buy them here because they're essentially a knife. Okay, so that is all I have for you guys today. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast today. And I hope that you go through and like, subscribe, and follow as much of my content as you can. And I will show you Lillian. Isn't she pretty? Lillian, you're so pretty. You're such a pretty girl. Okay, and I shall see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.